What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 481st edition of TSR Live. It is Thursday, July 4th, 2019. Happy Independence Day, everybody. This is our country's, I think, 243rd birthday. Make sure you guys are safe out there tonight, guys. Have a good time, but don't drink and drive. Just get an Uber, call it a night. You guys know I've had my run-ins. I've had my fair share of run-ins with the law. But fortunately, it's never involved alcohol. I've never had a DUI or a DWI. So just make sure you guys stay safe out there. And again, make sure you wrap up. You don't want a St. Patrick's Day baby. All right, let's get right to it. Today's article was submitted by Simon Benson, who is a longtime patron of mine. So big shout out goes out to Simon Benson for submitting this article. And today's article comes to us from Vice. The article is named, "I Tried to Give Up Men for a Month" by Allison Stevenson. This was written about a year and a half ago or so. So let's just go ahead and get started here. So right off the bat, the caption says, "People always say you find love when you stop looking for it, so I stopped." So, you know, right out of the gate, she's using a cliche to, I guess, as an excuse or a reason to do her man fast. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna break this down the customary Donovan Sharpe way. She says, quote, "One of the many consequences of being so public about my love life is the high amount of unsolicited dating advice I get from friends, acquaintances, strangers, and even some men who've been inside me. Ay, ay, ay. Some of the advice is downright infuriating, like when people urge me to settle for someone I clearly have no chemistry with simply because they like me. However, the piece of advice that is offered the most is that I should just stop trying. It's been the plot of countless romantic comedies, and many of my friends in the loving relationships tell me it happened to them. We found each other, they said, when we weren't looking." So, settle. Right? She's telling us that the most infuriating piece of advice they get is when people tell her to settle. Guys, she's lying through her teeth. Okay? Nobody is advising this chick to settle. Not even close. The feminist relationship anthem is never settle, which of course we all know to mean never settle down, which means sleep around until you have to settle down because you're no longer getting offers from high value men anymore. People lie all the time about their motivations, right? They say, "My teachers told me I'd never amount to anything." What? Dude, nobody has ever said that to anybody. Seriously. I'm not going to come on like, "Well, my teacher, Mr. Reynolds, my 5th grade teacher, Mr. Reynolds, says, Donovan, you'll never amount to anything," or "Donovan, you're nothing. You won't do anything with your life." Guys, that never happens. That has never been done. Now, listen, that's manufactured motivation, and we all have to do it. But let's stop lying about it. Michael Jordan was so good, he had to manufacture motivation. He would get newspaper clippings that says, "Michael Jordan smokes too many cigars." That's really not that big a deal. That's not a criticism. But Jordan needed that motivation. So he would post that. He would put that up on the bulletin board. "I'll show him who smokes too many cigars." He'd go out and score 46. That's manufactured motivation. At least he kept it real. Nobody told this chick to settle. She's just using it as an excuse to continue sleeping around, as all women do. Let's also address this whole romantic comedy thing. She says it's been the plot of countless romantic comedies. And there's your problem. Life ain't the movies, sweetie. The friends that it happened to when they weren't looking, they got lucky. It ain't because of some movie plot. The sooner women stop using movies and celebrities and TV shows to measure the success of their relationships, the better off they'll all be. Like that crackpot. What was her name? Colleen, turn that down. Like that crackpot Colleen over at the Good Men Project, talking about her fantasy. "Well, the new standard of black relationships is Jay-Z and Beyonce. A man who's a king of the streets finds a ride-or-die chick who's never seen that." That was just a fantasy. Jay-Z and Beyonce have an atypical relationship because they're worth $1.5 billion combined. That's not the normal relationship. Get out of here with that. Now, to her credit, I will give her credit where credit is due here. Okay? I will give her credit for the "when we weren't looking." That absolutely applies. I wasn't looking for a relationship when Devin and I met, right? And here we are. So listen, I will give her credit for that. But not looking doesn't mean you sleep around with no intention of settling down. No, it means closing your legs until you meet someone who's worth a damn. So I'll give her a half-point deduction for not telling us what she really means here. Let's go to the next paragraph. She says, my love life is full of trying. I am on multiple dating apps, perpetually on blind dates, and go out multiple nights a week in the hopes of maybe talking to a stranger who won't murder me. And yet I have not managed to date anyone for longer than a few months, if that. Even worse, she continues, we live in an age where a young woman admitting she would like to be in love is viewed as corny and tragic. Well, I'm sick of playing it cool, she says. I want the schmaltzy romance that's been rammed down my throat by movies, TV, and books since I was old enough to process information. Let's break this one down. Multiple dating apps. Well, there's another problem right there for you, hun. We all know that dating apps are full of people who are just looking to hook up. Nobody signs up for a dating app and look for a meaningful relationship. They say that they are, but they know that they're not. If you're looking for a meaningful relationship, the last place you want to go is a dating app. They shouldn't even be called dating apps. They should just be called hookup apps. Girls are always talking about, well, I'm just here to make friends, no hookups, or I created this account because my friends told me to, knowing full well that they're just there for the D like everybody else. Virtue signaling, gentlemen, is a telltale sign of a woman who wants her cake and eat it too. She wants to engage in promiscuous behavior under the guise of dating. Newsflash! A string of one-night stands isn't dating around. It is having sex with random men every night, period. Then, of course, she gives us the hotel of all hotels. She says, I have not managed to date anyone for longer than a few months. Translation, I've been sleeping around and have several friends with benefits arrangements with 11 different men. Ladies, friends with benefits arrangement isn't dating multiple men. It's having sex with multiple men with no intention of getting serious. Honestly, just own your own promiscuity already, right? Like if you're going to hook up with a bunch of dudes, if you're going to call yourself the S word like, what was her name, Kelly Tyler did, at least she kept it real. She says, listen, I'm a slut. This is what I do. Now she tried to snowflake, but she still owned her promiscuous behavior. This woman needs to just own it already. Well, I'm dating around. No, you are sleeping around. There is a difference. Then she says, I want the schmaltzy romance that's been rammed down my throat by movies, TV, and books since I was old enough to process information. Again, what's her name? Miss Allison, what is her name? Let me scroll back up. Again, Miss Stevenson. The schmaltzy romance doesn't exist. Relationships are work, gentlemen. They're not serendipitous. They're not fate, guys. Good relationships are work. And a lot of it. Girls think that good relationships are easy and that they just happen. They see some Facebook meme, good relationships shouldn't require any effort. They should just happen just like they do in movies. No. Girls think relationships are effortless. And this is why they whip out their phones and start swiping at the first sign of trouble. No wonder none of this girl's relationships lasted more than a few months. That's what's wrong with these girls. Let's continue. So I decided, she said, to put myself on a man fast. 1 entire month of no internet dating, no one-night stands, no romantic encounters of any kind. Unless it's with someone who genuinely seems interested in marrying me, giving me babies, and sticking around to stroke my hair while I finally succumb to aging-associated diseases. Here's how it went. So basically, she's not going to sleep with anybody unless she gets the impression that they're interested in marriage and giving her babies. Well, we had sex without a condom, so I think he wants to give me babies. And if he wants to give me babies, he must be interested in marrying me. Get out of here with that. Devin! Jesus Christ. Devin is off work today. It's 4th of July, so she's in here. She's my sideshow Bob today. Keep it down over there. Killing me. Jesus. TSR comedy zone. All right, let's get this started. Week 1. First thing I had to do, she said, was delete the apps I was on. Tinder, Bumble, Happen, Field, and OkCupid. I have no idea. Listen, I've heard of Tinder and Bumble and OkCupid, but I've never heard of Happen and Field. I've never heard. I mean, and again, guys, I've never done online dating, so I'm not familiar with these, but I know about Tinder and Bumble and OkCupid, but Happen and Field. Anyway, she continues, all gone. Second step was deleting the phone numbers of the men I have on call in case of a horniness emergency. After going through my phone and getting rid of them, the third and final step was to delete the phone number of a skateboarder I've been crushing on for months who may or may not have a girlfriend. This cleansing, she says, felt just like I feel after an STI check comes back negative. I'm a virgin again, she declares. I was now a blank slate, wiped clean of the dick from my past and ready for my man fast. You know, guys are always shocked when a girl they meet on Tinder. They're always shocked when they meet a girl on Tinder, rather, and then they find out she's on Match, Bumble, Plenty of Fish, OkCupid, Christian Mingle, Farmers Only, and for good measure, Ashley Madison. Like, consultation clients are always hitting me with, oh my God, Donovan, why is she on all of these dating apps? Well, my answer is that they're women. They want a lot of easy sex, and the more apps they're on, the wider the net that they cast. This woman is no different. I tell you guys this all the time. If she's on one dating app, she is on a dozen dating apps. This is how it goes. Then she says that she deleted the phone numbers of men that she has on call in case of a horniness emergency. Understand this, gentlemen. For every girl you have in your phone who would come over and have sex with you in 4 texts or less, those girls have 20 guys who are ready to do the same. And if she's actually attractive, that ratio jumps to 40-1. I mean, honestly, look at this girl. Look at this girl. Look at this. Here are another couple of pictures of her. Dude, look at this chick. This chick isn't even close to attractive, man. She's overweight. She's got a plain face. She's got short-ish hair. She's got fat fingers and is not good looking. And she has a list of contacts that she can call for a horniness emergency. Guys, this is how easy it is for women to sleep around. All they have to do is decide to. This chick is fat and ugly. And she's got a roster. Gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, if she has a roster, every girl has a roster. Never, ever forget that. Then she talks about the skateboarder who may or may not have a girlfriend. Listen, there's proof of pre-selection. She knows that the skateboarder has a girlfriend, and that's why she wants him. I think that's pretty obvious. All right, so let's continue here. She says, the first week was extremely uneventful. Nothing happened that could constitute a meet cute. She says this so many times, meet cute. That must be millennialese. Anyway, which I don't think I've ever actually experienced. The closest thing I've had in the past is when a guy I matched with was at the same coffee shop as me, then messaged me after I left to let me know he saw me. We had sex that night, and he moved to Argentina the next day. We haven't spoken since. Oh, that's something to be proud of. Being away from apps, she says, made me realize just how much of my life is dedicated to swiping. I thought I wasn't doing it that much, but the reality is that I just made the act of swiping such a regular part of my daily routine that it stopped feeling like it was a lot. Is that sad? Don't answer that. I think I know the answer. Gentlemen, I'd go as far as to say that at least half the time when you see a girl in her phone in public, she's swiping for the D. Listen, I don't have any studies on this. I don't have any statistics. Just call it a hunch. Call it a hunch. Let's go to week 2, she says. Thinking that I should probably put some effort into manifesting the meet cute of my dreams. What the hell is a meet cute? I have no idea. I decided, she said, to put more thought into my daytime appearance. Daytime me is typically a lot less put together than nighttime me, who is usually trying to get laid. My typical daytime outfit is leggings or jeans and an oversized t-shirt. I almost never wear makeup or even brush my hair. That changed this week. Guys, this is the answer to why girls are so misbehaved these days. This girl wears leggings or jeans and an oversized t-shirt, almost never wears makeup, and almost never brushes her hair, and she's got a list of men who will come over and bang her out at a moment's notice. Girls don't even have to try to get validation, and they still get it. Do it again. Look at this girl. Look at this girl. Look at this girl. Even if you're throwing up a little in your mouth, look at her. Look at this girl. She's not even close to attractive. Yet, she's got more men available to her than a man who has his shit together, has women available to him, and he dominates life. All this woman does is exist. And then we want to wonder why hot girls are vapid, impossible to be around, and as dumb as a kitchen table. Well, the reason is that even fat, ugly girls get attention. Jesus Christ. Unbelievable, man. She continues, every morning of this week, I put thought into my outfits. I worked some foundation onto my face, brushed my hair, and almost exclusively wore dresses, tapping into the most cliche image of femininity possible. I switched up my routine too, finding new places to write and get a cup of coffee, as well as new shops to run errands at. Again, she says, nothing happens. Well, one thing did happen, she says, at night. I went out for some drinks with a friend and happened to meet someone I have mutual friends with. He's older than me, a heavily tattooed single dad who lives alone and reeks of emotional unavailability. After flirting for some time, it was pretty obvious we wanted to have sex. Trying to keep it YouTube friendly here, but I stopped myself from giving in to the temptation, knowing full well it would be sex for sex's sake and nothing else. Any other month, that wouldn't be an issue for me at all, but this was my man fast month and I had to stick to it. Heavily tattooed single dad, right? He's got 3 markers of attraction. Number 1, he's older. Number 2, he's heavily tattooed. And number 3, he's a single dad. Okay? He's older, which means he's more attractive. He has himself together. Heavily tattooed is self-explanatory. He looks like a bad boy. And single dad means that he is sexually pre-selected. He had so much sex with a woman or women, they allowed him to impregnate them. One look at this guy, and this girl wanted to be under him. This is female nature in a nutshell. She's not bad for thinking this way. We did exchange numbers, though, she continues. I secretly hoped we could engage in some light flirting, which I admit I kind of felt like I needed in order to get me through the rest of the month. I figured if he initiates it, then I could go along with it. Predictably, he never initiated anything. Do I really, she asks, have to do all the work here? Gentlemen, this is the consequence of the #MeToo era. This is the consequence of the era of the false rape accusation with no repercussions. This is the consequence of the yes means yes era. This chick actually wrote another article on Vice entitled, "Choking Me During Sex Without Consent is Assault." What? Guys, listen, just like I talked about in my Sheryl Sandberg video, what did you expect to happen? Dudes are losing their jobs. They're getting arrested because a woman says he sexually assaulted her. Men are losing their college degrees despite the fact that he had the entire encounter on video. And this chick has the gall to ask, do I really have to do all the work here? Well, the answer is yes, Miss Stevenson. You do have to do all the work. You cannot expect men to be assertive if you think a man doing something to you during sex that you didn't verbally and enthusiastically consent to is assault. You were having sex. You mean to tell me that during sex, if he does something that you don't tell him to do, that's assault? You can't expect men to be assertive in this day and age. This is what you created, ladies. You have criminalized male desire to the point that men aren't going to pursue unless pursued. And even then, he knows he's at risk for something. You made your bed, ladies. Now you got to lay in it. Simple as that. A couple of ways you can contribute to the show. You can do that through Super Chat or the Streamlabs link. Streamlabs.com/Donovan Sharpe1. Again, www.streamlabs.com/Donovan Sharpe and the number 1. Whichever way is most convenient for you. No donation is too big or too small. I appreciate every penny. Gentlemen, if you get something out of my content, like, comment, subscribe, and share. My channel does not grow without you guys sharing my videos. So text your friends, slide into their DMs, blast this on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Get the word out, guys. If you're a little short on cash, remember, likes and shares are free, so you can do your part without having to go into your wallet. Also, make sure you sign up for my newsletter to stay in the know on all things Donovan Sharpe. Getting on my newsletter also has a benefit. If you sign up for my newsletter, you get my 7-hour, 5-part audio course on how to build a quality woman from the ground up. This will keep you up to date on all things Donovan Sharpe. And if you have a show idea, if you see a video, a blog post, or something on social media, like Simon Benson did, hit me. TSR@DonovanSharpe.com. That is TSR@DonovanSharpe.com, or the contact tab on my website, DonovanSharpe.com/contact. If you want even more of my content, sign up for my Patreon. This afternoon, I'm releasing episode 3 from the archive. I'll be releasing all of my episodes from day 1 on Patreon. Every day, I will release all of the episodes from day one in sequential order. This includes all of the origin stories, how I tried to turn a hoe into a housewife, my relationship with Amy, my failed marriage, etc., all of that stuff, the history of Donovan Sharpe. So if you want to get your hands on that, go to patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. No TSR primetime tonight. I'll be involved with all of the 4th of July festivities, what with hot dogs, beer, and fireworks, so I will not be on tonight. Week 3. I'll be honest, she says. I really dropped the ball this week. I drunkenly re-downloaded Tinder and messaged the skateboarder whose number I previously deleted. Luckily, all I said in my drunken state was, hey, which obviously he didn't respond to for 12 hours. I didn't keep the conversation going with him and didn't initiate any conversation with my new Tinder matches. The man fast was still on. Now that I don't believe. But listen, for the sake of argument, let's just say she's telling the truth. It doesn't matter. Here's what really got my attention. She says she re-downloaded Tinder. Drunkenly re-downloaded Tinder. You know, guys, I just love how females always remove free will and volition from their decisions and blame their bad decisions on everyone and everything but themselves. Now, she was honest and said, okay, I dropped the ball. But then she said drunkenly downloaded Tinder, as if the alcohol told her to do it. The tequila bottle up, re-download Tinder, okay. No, she's a hoe with hoe tendencies, which means needing constant sexual validation. Again, Miss Stevenson, just own your own promiscuity. Let's continue. I went back to being unkempt daytime me, realizing that putting effort into my outward appearance was a form of trying and was too outside of my character. She's lazy and is doing what's easy like most women do. I did go out drinking again this week and was surprised to find myself being hit on once more. This time by a 23-year-old Dodger fan wearing a bandana and talking to me about his startup. He was not even close to being my type. This is funny. He's 23 years old, he's young, and he's got a startup, right? Not close to being my type. He's well put together. She's not ready for that yet. Normally, she says, I would end the conversation as quickly as possible and call it a night. However, thinking back to the rom-coms in my memory bank, I figured this could potentially play out as one of those opposites attract scenarios where I become the manic pixie dream girl who introduces him to the world of art and punk rock while he teaches me about the value of saving money and caring about my future. Nothing about our love makes sense, yet somehow it works. Here she goes with the rom-com comparisons again, right? When are women going to understand that they're not Katherine Heigl and dudes aren't Gerard Butler? When are they going to figure out they ain't Kate Beckinsale who ran into John Cusack in Serendipity? Her little fantasy is just that, a fantasy. The only difference here is that her meet cute isn't going to take her seriously because A, she's a hoe, and B, she's fat. To be honest with you, she probably needs to watch a few more rom-coms because apparently she hasn't figured out that in none of these movies is the female actress fat. Meg Ryan wasn't fat when she met Harry. Jennifer Lawrence wasn't overweight when she met Bradley Cooper in Silver Linings Playbook. Eva Mendes was thin and beautiful when she hooked up with Will Smith in Hitch. Her rom-com fantasy is never going to happen anyway. But if she wants her Bradley Cooper or her John Cusack, or at least something close to it, she needs to drop the weight. But I'm not holding my breath. Let's continue. I decided to go ahead and give him my number, which is when I realized there really might be something to not putting any effort into dating. I've been approached twice during my experiment, which hadn't happened to me for quite some time before the man fast. Yeah, this is her admitting that doing the easy thing is working, right? Any guy who would approach a woman who looks like that has got to be a low-value guy. If I saw that chick in Vegas, she'd be invisible to me. You are unattractive and overweight. You are invisible. So men who approach unattractive and overweight women, you're telling on yourself. You're telling on yourself. You are low value. You don't have options. You do not have the abundance mindset. You have the scarcity mindset. The rest of the week went by. He never texted. Before this man fast, I would have eventually just sent the first text. However, purposely making myself not do so had put my love life into perspective. Like, damn, I really do put effort into bringing men in my life. Men who are most likely not that interested in me, at least not enough to really make some moves. This is her coming to the realization that men only want her for sex and not relationships, right? So she gets a guy's number, and instead of waiting for him to pursue, what she does is she does all the pursuing. What she doesn't realize is that guys are banging her because they don't have any other options. She doesn't realize this. Every guy that she hooks up with, she's the one used to taking the lead. Honestly, guys probably don't even ask for her phone number. She probably just voluntarily gives it to him. Then he gives her the phone number. She makes all the first moves. And he says, you know what? She's kind of overweight and kind of ugly. But, none of the 3 girls that I approached are texting back. All right, hey, listen. Some sex is better than no sex, says the low-value guy. Looks like Joey Chestnut is competing in the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Been a 4th of July tradition of mine since 2001. All right, let's go to week 4. Wait a minute. Week 4. There it is. Week 4. All right, I'll be honest, she says. I effed the single dad. It was all me, too. I made it happen. You see what I said, guys? Men don't pursue this woman. She pursues them. The only reason why men have sex with her is because she throws herself at these guys. She doesn't realize this yet. Anyway, in my defense, she says, I hadn't had sex in several months, and the man fasts serve as a constant reminder of that. I didn't have the distractions I normally have, like dates and light internet flirting. My horny levels were reaching a tipping point, and my vibrator had lost its original strength. I keep forgetting to buy new batteries, and I just needed some dick. Gentlemen, wanting sex doesn't make a girl a slut. Not showing discipline and temperance does. Every girl gets horny, guys, even the good girls. It's a natural part of life. Girls who don't sleep around are doing what's very difficult not to do. It is very difficult not to yield to temptation when you want the D, and D is being thrown at you all the time. Unfortunately, most girls don't exercise discipline, which is why most girls are hoes. Here's another thing. We've caught her in a lie. She said, I hadn't had sex in several months, but she said she was starting her man fast for a month, right? If there was a 1-month man fast, then the man fast had already lasted for several months, right? So she's already lying. No. She needed the D, but again, she tried to blame it on I hadn't had sex in several months. No, baby girl. No. You started your man fast because you got banged out by somebody the night before, most likely the guy who moved to Argentina. You see how she sort of changed those stories around, made it sound like it happened, years and years ago? No. That happened the night before the man fast. Blaming your lack of discipline on I hadn't had sex in several months, flat out lying. Girls do this all the time when trying to explain away promiscuous behavior. Well, I hadn't had sex in several months. My vibrator ran out of batteries. I just got over a bad breakup. I was lonely. Sweetie, just say you were horny and decided to be a hoe instead of exercising temperance and leave it at that. Like, we all know why you banged the single dad. You don't have to virtue signal with us. She did keep it real when she says, hey, I'll be honest, I have the single dad. But in the end, she used those excuses to justify it. Whatever. I'd also thought to myself that maybe, just maybe, I was wrong about this guy being emotionally unavailable. Maybe this could actually be the start of a relationship. But then the night we hooked up, we got to talking about exes and past loves. He mentioned a woman he recently got dumped by who he would get back into a relationship with immediately if she texted him. So yeah, my initial assessment was right. It was a pretty good F, though. To conclude, she says, I guess technically this man fast was unsuccessful on account of me not abstaining from men. But I'm still taking away some valuable lessons. There was no man fast. She wanted to go on a 1-month man fast. She lied to us and said she hadn't had sex in several months. But she went on a 1-month man fast that was unsuccessful. There we go. We caught her in a lie. All girls lie, gentlemen. So here are her lessons. I know now, she says, that I should continue going down this path of not trying so hard. But I will also keep my Tinder account active, putting me at a much happier medium. If something happens, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. As much as I'd like to have the barf bag of love I see in movies, I can't keep trying to force it to happen with men who are not worthy of my time or attention. None of us should. Gentlemen, Stop trying so hard, but also keep my Tinder account active. Translation, I'm going to keep doing what I was doing before because taking pride in my personal appearance and abstaining from easy sex with random men is difficult. Guys, there were no lessons here. The lesson she learned is that trying wasn't worth it. This is why girls are petri dishes these days, guys. They never do what's hard. It's hard to dress well and put on makeup and do your hair to get noticed by the right guys. It's hard to put effort into your dating life so that you can actually start attracting men of value instead of tatted up single dads with BPD exes and hipster Dodger fans who wear bandanas in public. There is no happy medium for this girl. She's back to status quo, which is sleeping around without much effort. Then she says, if something happens, great. If that doesn't, that's fine too. Guys, these are the musings of a woman who doesn't realize that she'll be miserable when she can't sleep around anymore. Okay? She's okay with nothing happening because she thinks she'll have a steady string of dudes at the ready. Now, to some degree, she will. But here's the rub. The dudes won't be the ones she wants. Then she'll be writing articles asking, where have all the good men gone, like every other internet hoe, masquerading as a blogger. Then finally she says, I can't keep trying to force it to happen with men who aren't worthy of my time and attention. Are you serious with this? Let me put her back up on the screen, man. Let me put her back up on the screen. Look at this girl. I mean, look at this girl. Not worth my time and attention? This woman is either delusional or she realizes she's never going to lock down a man of value. So instead of taking rejection like a woman and actually improving herself, she's using the, well, you can't fire me because I quit routine to keep her from getting depressed about being a fat 38-year-old with no man. The fact that this unattractive, overweight female decided to go on a man fast and failed at it proves how abundant casual sex is to every woman. If any man watching this is dating even a half-decent looking woman, you need to understand that she is sleeping with other people. Don't give me this, well, she would never. Well, she told me, dude, she would and she is. Never forget that. It absolutely blows me away that a female who looks like this gets so much dick thrown at her that she felt she needed to go on a man fast. Knowing what we know about women, it doesn't surprise me, but there's always something that happens that causes me to just say, you know what? Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.